This is called Requiescat in Pace, which R.I.P. rest in peace. "20 years without a note, a phone call, a whisper, a word. They all obeyed her proclamation, 'Consider me dead.' Now, it is my duty to dig through out-of-date address books, dusty and yellowed in the bottom of a dresser drawer. Would they understand that the child is not the child of this mother? Death, can you unmake the years of silence? Give us the remembrance of happy family portraits never taken? Just how many steps will I have to take towards cousins and aunts and brothers and nieces to show them that my path is not hers? Sister, you haunted the cornered silences of my childhood. With beckoning arms, you stole birthday parties, whimpering pleas that drowned out secrets of first boyfriends. You looked into our mother's heart with your still, staring eyes, liquid pupils like water droplets shimmering, and you took her into the murky with you, your waterlogged arms as heavy as her grief. I wanted to know your memory as someone other than my jailer. I wanted to believe that your unknown heart would have fought for me to be seen. Mama, I chose a damaged body whose bones curved in the same fluid arc of her waving arms. Reshape my limbs until they blossom. Exhume your heart from the loamy soil of that river bank and plant it in my fairer field. You chose to nurse the wounds of the dead, attend to all their little discomforts. So I dedicated myself to studying the shape of my own wounds and learning to tourniquet my adolescent fractures. Finally, when my teenage bones paralleled into their proper geometry, I thought you could embrace a daughter in whose ribcage beat a living heart and give up listening for the long, silent rhythms of the dead. Mama, see me. I am here, darning the unraveling edges of your dreams, scrubbing raw the flesh of my hands into perfect obedience, puppeting my heart to fulfill every request, even absent from my own life, hoping to give you a moment's release from this jagged, suffering fate. You denied me peace, even as the shroud of your words was pulled over your limp mouth. Accusations lingered in the sterile air. They didn't believe your cruelty, but named me spoiled, ungrateful child of absent father and sacrificial mother. But it was my childhood, my need for your love that was led to the slaughter and bled out on the stone table of your grief. I first saw you, Daddy, in the tilted light of a watchful jungle, crouched in steamy undergrowth and foot rot. You cradle a young boy's bandaged head as his green life slipped out of your bloodied fingernails and glided quietly over the mountains beyond. That boy soldier promised to return to you, and he was who I became, reborn into a grieving womb. You, lieutenant, then father, now and again, carried your duty home into the dangerous domestic habitation of woman and mother and child. Even in your easy chair with after-dinner cigarettes, you were always struggling to comment on this story unfolding in a language you didn't speak. I was raised. To be the daughter of an absent father, just like you, I was always leaving, but could never quite get out the door. Was I waiting for my own traveling papers? Too cowardly to risk being labeled deserter? Father, your death came to us on official letterhead, addressed to the divorced widow of. That was when I went looking for you in photos, phone calls, and obituaries with never heard names. I discovered your other families, a trinity of wives and their misplaced sons and daughters. Did you carry them with a father's arms and attend their dreams and disappointments with a damaged heart? Did you have answers for their questions when letters in my own 8-year-old scrawl went unanswered? Throw dust upon dust on my inheritance, the shadow box of medals and honors that proclaimed you as hero is now as unsupportable a myth as your love was. And I am the orphan of my own discarded dreams. This piece I wrote for someone that I worked with, and it's called Raw. She is stretched like a string across the bow of 22, rubbed to the resin raw. All the tender music of 17 has exhausted its sweet melodies in the 3-chord rhythms of heart and thigh. During the slow mornings, she tells me her life story, and I am as uncomfortable in the role of confessor as she is in her imitation leather pumps, with scuffed toes and black marks on the heels. Her body has its own spatial geometry, all angles and intersecting points of anger and shame. Beneath the tailored business suit, she is all tomboy, tugging at itchy pantyhose and clomping bow-legged across the floor. Her hit-and-run storytelling style leaves me rubbernecked. I was married and divorced by the time I was 16, she tosses out casually. When I was 17, I had an affair with my chemistry teacher. The principal knew, but she didn't care. Then she turns and quickly leaves the scene of the accident, smoldering with questions, and I'm left pondering the rest. When she returns, she says, I never had any close female friends. I just always got along better with the boys. I wonder why she even talks to me when I can tell she's the kind of woman who sees every other female as competition. It is because I am no threat to the bar-hopping boys she prefers. There is an almost maniacal economy to everything she does. As if one unplanned moment, any acknowledgement of misstep would carry all of her created confidence crashing down to dust. 2 weeks ago, she was rushed to the emergency room with chest pains and shortness of breath. The doctors said she had a hole in her lung. While she was in the hospital, her faithless boyfriend, the man who never met a tail he didn't chase, made a drunken pass at me at the company picnic. Now, as I watch her dig for a cigarette in the bottom of her gigantic purse, I wonder if she's hoping to inhale enough tar to plug up the hole. And I don't understand how she can think these men care about her, how she can prefer a crowd of users and jerks to the company of one good woman. But I do understand these kinds of men, the way they long to embrace the girl and break